What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with a few bits of D2 news and some updates. So naturally we'll talk about the Guardian games, the exotic quests for Heir Apparent, and its catalyst. There are some important things to know about the event, issues that Bungie are tracking to fix, and a couple of other things. And then we'll touch on some other bugs and notifications in game. Also, Bungie's new game, which looks like it will have an important competitive multiplayer element. And then we have some supposed leaks for Season 14, and a few other subjects to touch on in the video. So, as always guys, I hope you find this one interesting, but without further delay, let's get into it. And of course, Guardian Games has kicked off for 2021. I guess the most interesting element for most players being the Heir Apparent and its catalyst. And if you didn't own the Heir Apparent already, a quest drops to acquire it after you complete the game's begin quest by purchasing the first contender card for the event. So essentially follow the main quest, and then we'll get a new quest called Top of Class. Unless of course you already have the gun, and then I assume this one doesn't drop. But to complete it, we simply have to collect 50 laurels. And the second step is to kill 100 combatants with machine guns in the Daily Focus playlist. The first day was strikes, but the Daily Focus playlist will always be displayed in the milestone tray. So equip the machine gun to get those kills, and after they're completed, the gun will simply drop. And when you have the machine gun already unlocked, to get the Catalyst quest, it may be RNG, but if it is, then it's a pretty common drop when you turn in medals. I believe mine dropped from a gold medal being deposited. Then of course we can go ahead and work on the Catalyst quest. So the first step is to get 50 medal points earned by obtaining medals, which once again is probably going to be easiest inside of the Daily Focus playlist. However, the second step requires us to complete 3 contender cards. Of course purchased from Eva Levante. And finally, we'll need to defeat combatants with machine guns in the Daily Focus playlist once again to collect competitive spirit, and precision final blows will grant the most progress, and we're able to get hold of the exotic catalyst. There are some videos online with gameplay of what that catalyst does, so you can always check those out, but there are a few known issues and things worth bearing in mind for the event. So initially there was a glitch to farm infinite legendary shards, but that one's been fixed. Then Bungie added to the list that the Titan Contender Eververse armor set makes the player's body invisible in first person. So if you're wearing that and you can't see your character when you look down, it is something that Bungie are looking to fix. Also, the One Fell Strike Triumph is one that has to be completed in the Vanguard or Nightfall playlist and claimed before the strike actually ends. So if you do unlock it, be sure to go into your Triumphs menu and claim that. And then they say that they're investigating a problem where players are losing quest inventory space when purchasing contender cards, and they'll send out more information once it becomes available. And also DMG points out that the medal case is not a quest, and is a solution to keeping medals from taking up inventory space. Plus, we'll see medal counts go up and down depending on what we have left to turn in. So bear that in mind, it isn't a quest that we eventually unlock and complete, but more of a menu which tracks which medals we currently have, but of course they will change depending on what we turn in and things like that. Additionally though, Bungie have said that unrecovered laurels don't go to the postmaster and must be picked up to count. And they say if the medal case is full, medals earned through claiming triumphs will be lost. And then the laurel acquisition step of the Heir Apparent exotic quest only counts laurels picked up off the ground. So essentially best to do that in PvE. Also, players won't be able to deposit medals if they were acquired in the tower after players have already deposited medals of the same rarity. And also, certain shaders may erroneously remove the glow from the Eververse Warlock Guardian Games Universal Ornament set. And so if the glows happen to disappear, it could well be a bug with the currently equipped shader. So those are some of the important things worth bearing in mind there. And now moving on to some separate stuff about the game. It's worth mentioning a couple of weeks ago, Bungie rolled out SDR coverage for PlayStation. And this is the DDoS protection for consoles that they spoke about a few weeks ago. And that should mean a fairly significant reduction in the number of DDoS attacks happening via the game. They've also said that they're investigating a problem causing crashes when traveling into the Firebase Hades area in the European Dead Zone. So if you happen to be experiencing that problem, just bear in mind it could actually be the loading zone itself causing the game to crash due to the bug. And finally, another reminder, we have had a few of these now, but on May 11th with Season 14, Bungie have said they're overhauling the shader system. That's going to be via the new appearance customization system, and shaders will become permanent unlocks, with all shaders in player inventories being removed. So definitely worth remembering to dismantle the shaders before Season 14 begins, and for that we can get Glimmer and Legendary Shards, which could potentially be a little bit useful in itself. Moving on though, something that's been highlighted in the community is that Bungie are still hiring developers to work on their unannounced title. And this post is for a competitive multiplayer systems designer. And it says, do you spend your time deconstructing the latest PvP games to understand how they work? do analyze how team play dynamics are affected by everything from moment-to-moment abilities to high-level macro objectives. And are you excited to design game systems that allow for interesting strategic decisions, multiple vectors of player learning, and the depth to support hundreds of hours of gameplay? With the responsibilities listing, conceiving of, building, and iterating on competitive multiplayer game mechanics that provide strategic depth and opportunities for counterplay. As a systems designer, you'll work with a team to prototype different game ideas on the path to production. Most importantly, you'll work with a fun, dedicated, and passionate cross-discipline team devoted to turning a creative dream into a new franchise at Bungie. And so obviously that is very interesting and very strongly suggests that the game is going to have a significant multiplayer element with that focus on competitive game mechanics. So competitive PvP definitely looks to be a key feature of the title that Bungie are working on. And of course, all we really know about that right now is that they trademarked the title Mata a year or so ago and plan currently to launch another title by around about 2025. So give us your thoughts about that, and obviously it is something that we'll be watching closely over the next few years. Something I wanted to mention here very briefly, but quick shout out to a new website called Previously on Destiny. But Alex, a very loyal Destiny fan, has set up a site where you can catch up on the complete story of Destiny, with information about key characters, but also all of the key episodes throughout Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 so far. And so if you want a bit of a catch-up, some nostalgia maybe, or perhaps if you're a new light player, curious about the kind of historic story of Destiny and want to see that summarized, it's definitely a cool site to check out. Quite nostalgic as well if you've played since Destiny 1. So if you want to check it out, I will link that site down below. But for now guys, that's what we have to speak about in this video. Very much looking forward to Season 14. A leak that's gained a little bit of traction recently, which does come from 4chan, so who knows whether it's remotely likely to be true will remain to be seen, although it has gained a bit more traction than some leaks we see. But apparently it'll be a Vex-focused season, called Season of the Collectives. Of course, we know Vault of Glass is coming back. The leak suggests that the small seasonal subplot for Vault of Glass involves the restoration of Atheon, due to the precursors and descendants finally understanding how to wield paracausal stasis abilities. It also suggests that super good advice will return as part of an exotic quest, as well as Vex Mythoclast from the raid, and a seasonal exotic in the form of an energy linear fusion rifle called the First Tempo. Then also a dungeon set on the EDZ. I guess we can play a little game with this and see whether any of it turns out to be true. I mean, some of it probably will. The possibility of Vex Mythoclast, some of those things are very obvious. But realistically, we only have a couple of weeks until we'll get some info, so we can see if there's any truth in there. But for today, guys, that's what we have to speak about. Enjoy the Guardian games if you are jumping in, and as always, when we do get information about Season 14, I'll be keeping you posted. But give us any of your thoughts on what we've spoken about in the video, as well as a like rating if you have enjoyed this one. But otherwise, I appreciate you all very much, and I hope you have an awesome day.